Getting over objections. Get the yes. Years ago, I remember I had to meet up with a friend. On the way, I saw this gorgeous girl and I had to go talk to her. She was a sight to sore eyes. She was walking a little fast, but I was not going to let that stop me. I went over and I caught up to her. I only managed to get out one word. Hey, before she said, hey, I am so sorry, I am in a rush. I was not shocked given how fast she was walking. I then said I won't take too much of your time, to which she replied, I really have to rush, maybe another time. I backed off because I could tell she was not lying. She had somewhere to be. I proceeded on my walk to meet up with my friend. I was walking a distance behind this girl who just rejected me when I saw my friend coming in my direction. As the girl was about to pass by my friend, he stopped her. I slowed down a little as I knew she was in a hurry. The conversation took a lot longer than I expected, and 2 minutes later I heard the girl say, look, I really need to rush, take my number and maybe text or call me later. My friend handed her his phone and she put her number in. After they parted ways, my friend came to me, said, damn, she is pretty. I said, yeah, what the hell? I pondered this the whole day. At that time, I had been studying sales for a long time. This did not sound like approaching, it sounded like sales. Because sales is more about getting over objections. What does such a basic sales technique have anything to do with approaching a woman? Somehow, a quote from Napoleon Hill's book called How to Sell Yourself Through Life came to mind. In the book, he said sales is everywhere. Even a man trying to woo a woman is selling himself. That made me think that the process of attraction is nothing but a sales process. Whether you are trying to sexually or romantically attract women, you have to sell yourself to her. And there will be objections in the process. A super attractive man ought to know how to get over these objections as they come. I failed to get over the objection and I missed my shot. My friend did and got the girl. After understanding attraction, this is the second most important principle taught in this book. No matter how good you get at wooing women, you are going to get objections in one form or the other. They may be genuine or just to hide something. They may be in a form of rejection or a bullshit test. She may not feel like talking, or she may feel like talking to you is not worth it. Whatever it is, knowing how to handle them will reduce the rate of rejection to a minimum. This does not mean that you are not going to get rejected. You are. But your conversion rate will be significantly higher than these guys out here. There are situations you just can't overcome. There will be times you can feel that this is above me and have to back up. It happens, but these are rare. In most cases, we reject ourselves by simply not trying to get over objections. In the example I gave you, I rejected myself. I'm going to give you 5 methods that if you use properly will get you the yes almost every time. Sarcasm. I remember back in college, me and a friend were sitting in the library overnight room. I was reading The Art of Seduction, getting captivated by the book, and I was completely zoned in. Suddenly, shit, my friend exclaimed. He then turned to me. You claim you are an expert in handling things like this, right? He handed me his phone. He was showing me a text that said, be honest, you have a girlfriend, don't you? He was flabbergasted. I hate when this happens, it never ends good, he said. Help me, man, he continued. Relax, man, I said. Type this. Wait, how did you know? I guess there is no hiding it now. I have 17 girlfriends, and I am thinking about making you my number 18. She will laugh it off and continue talking about something else. He looked at me as if to say, are you crazy? Come on, man, that will never work. I thought you said you were good at this. We went back and forth for a while. He did not know what to say. Then finally he decided to show me that my suggestion was stupid. He typed and sent it. Instantly, I could see the regret on his face. He was fidgeting a lot as he waited for the response. It got quiet for a bit. I got back to reading my book. Then, you are a genius, he yelled as he handed me the phone. She had replied with a lot of laughing emojis and something along the lines of, you are so funny, how does one handle 17 girls? From here, the objection was out of the way and was easy to handle. Most of these methods can be flirty when executed right, but sarcasm is by far the flirtiest of them all. You can say and get away with a lot of things when you are not too self-conscious. Girls want to have fun. Be fun and properly used. Sarcasm can be so fun and gives off relaxed vibes. Sarcasm can also help you get over objections. Example, you ask for her number, she says, what are you going to do with my number? You can say, I'm going to take pictures of my flying monkey and send you just 71 every hour. I mean, what else are numbers for? If you watch movies, bad boys often use sarcasm. We often watch in awe as on-screen studs come up with witty comebacks and think to ourselves, how did he do that? If you want to get more proficient at doing these, watch my YouTube channel, and there I will give you multiple examples of every one of them. Example, she says, "You are a red flag." You reply, "You caught me, I am full of red flags, I thought that's what you girls like." Emotional blackmail or manipulation. Emotional blackmail is by far the most used system to get over objections in our day-to-day lives. All of us use it, but almost none of us are willing to admit that we use it. Just like manipulation, we manipulate people regularly. Some are just better at using it than others. Here is the definition of both according to the Cambridge Dictionary: emotional blackmail. When someone tries to make you do something by making you feel guilty. Manipulation. Controlling someone or something to your own advantage, often unfairly or dishonestly. Just from the definitions above, can you really tell me you don't do both? It is mostly used by women to get their way every time. In college, I had a circle of friends. All of us took pride in our ability to get laid. We bragged a lot. There was a silent competition about quality and quantity amongst us. To my surprise, the guy who led in quantity used emotional blackmail to get laid. I didn't believe this, and for a while we laughed at him for it. We called this strategy weak. When he got objections from girls, he softened his voice, and to us it sounded pitiful, but it worked. Once a girl was refusing to sleep with him. He said, "I understand. Why would you be with me? Nothing in my life ever goes right. It's as if I am not meant to be happy. Do you know that's what my grandmother told me before she passed?" Out of pity, the girl no longer objected and slept with him. Believe it or not, this is just the tip of the iceberg. He used worse to overcome many different objections in life and over text. He is the master of getting what he wants by making people feel sorry for him. Because of him, I decided to study the art of emotional blackmail and manipulation. Here's how to use it. Example 1. You are home waiting for your girl. You want some. She gets home and she says she is not in the mood. Say, "I understand, but how would you feel if one day you come home wanting to have sex and I am not in the mood? I thought this was a partnership. Like I said, I understand you are not in the mood. Maybe next time." Kiss her on the forehead and go on with your business. This will remove this objection in the future. Example 2. Suppose you invite her over for dinner and you have prepared something special. Then she cancels last second. Most guys would pretend that it is okay. It does not matter how valid her reason is. Let her know that you had put in much effort and it is rude for her to have let you waste the time you could have spent otherwise to do something meaningful. You are a busy man. Behaviors you sweep under the rug will constantly be repeated. Make her feel guilty for not doing it. Since people do not like to feel bad or feel like they are disappointing someone, they will often do what you want if you emotionally blackmail them. Sometimes they will notice what you are doing and try to rebuke your manipulation. Whatever they say, listen to them and follow it up with, "I have said my piece," or "I have nothing further to say." From time to time, do not be afraid to show a bit of emotion. Ladies, eat that up. Do not overuse. Use it to make a big statement, especially for matters that may rise again in the future. Do not use it too much for small matters. It will become too obvious, and once you are predictable, you lose. Pre-Objection Acknowledgement, or POA, is about noticing the potential objection and unapologetically acknowledging it before she brings it up. The POA disarms the objection before she tries to use it. I learned this technique from a content creator called Matt Artisan. Remember, unapologetically acknowledge. There is a huge difference between these two. 1, "Hello, I am sorry for calling so late, but..." And 2, "Hello, I know it is late, but..." The "I'm sorry" presupposes that you have done something wrong, and most of the time they will call you up on this. Or you will get an "it's okay," which is something you do not want while sparking sexual attraction. Just acknowledge the objection before she does. For example, you see a girl rushing somewhere. You walk up and say, "Hey, I noticed you were in a rush, but I just had to say hi." This prevents her from using the "I am in a rush" reaction. Notice I didn't apologize. Please don't say, "I am sorry for this. I noticed you were rushing, but I had to say hi." It is nice and respectful, but it won't help your course. Here is another example. You approach a girl talking to her friend and you say, "Hey, I know you girls are in the middle of a conversation, but I had to tell you that you both look amazing." Simple as that. There is no, I didn't mean to interrupt or my bad for the interruption because A, you meant to interrupt, you wouldn't do it otherwise. And B, there is nothing bad about seeing a gorgeous lady and talking to her. Another example, she told you that she would be busy for a while, but you want her to come over for some reason. Say, I know you said you were going to be busy, but I miss you and want to see you. I promise I will have you back to your work quick. I went a little overboard with this one, but I have used this one word for word multiple times and it works almost every time. I would like to stress the apology part. Stop apologizing for things you aren't sorry for. It just makes you look weak. Girls do not like weak men. I am a nice person. I am kind to people who are kind to me, and I make it a point to apologize for everything wrong I did, but in so doing, I apologize for the parts I'm sorry for. Try this, it works. When you apologize like this, it is genuine and will be well received. Example, you slept with another girl. When she finds out, apologize. Do not apologize for sleeping with the other girl, because you are not sorry that you slept with her. Apologize for causing her emotional distress, because in most cases, that is what you are sorry for. You wanted to sleep with that other girl, you didn't mean to hurt her. And never ever beg for forgiveness. Think about it. Most of us don't even do that to our parents and the people we have loved for our entire lives. We just ask for forgiveness and pass. So why are you begging some girl for forgiveness? It makes you look weak and it will hurt you in the long run. If you find this book helpful so far, share it with as many guys as you can. Help me pass this message to help guys out here. Women are winning. Then work together to take back what is rightfully ours. Pause here, share, and let's continue. The hypothetical if then what if. Back in high school, I was a contrarian. I used to disagree with a lot of things that people said. I got into so many arguments, as if I was addicted. It is no surprise that this is how I was. I grew up in a family where I was the only guy among 7 women, 5 sisters, my mom and aunt. I lost so many arguments and discussions, simply because I was not good at getting people to agree with me. I then studied what is known as neuro-linguistic programming, or NLP. In it, I learned a common NLP technique that changed my life forever. With this, I could argue better and win more arguments. Yes, I did get resented a lot for this, but now I can articulate my points properly. With this, you can take any subject and put it in the most logical and agreeable fashion. With it, you can get over objections as easy as pie. It involves using the word if. When you use if, you prompt the person to which you are talking to think. When you make a statement like the ocean is blue because it reflects the blue color of the sky, you force the person to agree or disagree with you. But switch this to what if the ocean is blue because it reflects the blue color of the sky. Now the person can't agree or disagree. They will have to think about what you just said and tell you what they think. This technique is used by Jordan B. Peterson a lot in arguments. Unlike what Jordan B. Peterson and I did to make our point in arguments, use it to get over objections. And you won't get resentment. Instead, you will get her to agree with you more often and get what you want. What if? When you get an objection, this will work a lot of the time. So how does it work? An objection is a refusal, no matter how kind it is put. After she refuses, your following sentence does not allow her to say no, but rather think. This technique is used by salespeople a lot, and you can make it work for you too. If she gives you an objection like, my friends are waiting for me, I have to go, you can say something like, what if you could hear me out for 30 seconds and still get to your friends in time? This makes her think about how it is possible to do that, instead of saying no. The what if also removes her mind from the initial objection and channels her to the direction of your thinking. For example, you are talking and somehow you ask, do you find me attractive? And she says, I have a boyfriend. Say, okay, what if you didn't have a boyfriend? Would you find me attractive? The what if creates a hypothetical scenario and forces her to answer. Even if she continues by saying, but I do have a boyfriend, just say, what if you didn't? Try to emphasize the what if part. Another example, if you want to meet a girl you have been talking to for a while or a girl you are involved with, you could say something along the lines of, what if I was missing you a lot and you missed me too? Would you come to see me? If, then. This system is often used to make believable equivalencies. It is used to relay logic. It can also be used to make false equivalencies that may be believable. Most people use it in emotional blackmail, which will be discussed later in this chapter. Here, we're going to use it to create hypotheticals in order to deal with objections. When she hesitates to give you her phone number, you could say, "If you gave me your phone number, then what is the worst thing that could happen?" Or you can take it a step further and say, "If you gave me your phone number, then the worst thing that can happen is you get one extra person to view your statuses. I cannot spoon feed these to you. You have to be creative and use them properly. As you get more experience, you will play around with these." Basically, what you have to do is take her objection and remove the excuse that makes up the objection. Create a hypothetical scenario that will get her to answer in your favor. You get her to think, "What would I do if this was not a problem?" I am sure you have heard this being used a million times already, and I'm willing to bet that you have used it plenty of times yourself. The problem is that you panic when you get objections and then reject yourself, but you will not forget to use it from today. This is one of my favorite ways to get over objections, especially when selling. When it comes to women, I prefer it coupled with sarcasm or coupled with the hypothetical. Agreeing shows that you sympathize and care about what she is objecting to. People love it when we agree with them. This allows you to remove the resistance. I learned this technique from Jordan Belfort, the Wolf of Wall Street, when I was studying sales. I took a liking to it when I was learning his straight line method. He says this method can be used to get over all objections when selling. I use it every time in sales. When we get to the part about talking to women, I will give you my method, which resembles the straight line method. For now, learn the technique in it that helps to get over objections. When you get the objection, every time you use this method, the first thing to say always is yes, yes, I understand, or I agree with you, no matter the objection. Always say it even if you don't have a follow-up. But you always have to follow up with a statement or question that removes the objection. For example, she says, "I am in a hurry." You reply, "Yes, I understand, but this will take a few seconds." This is just an example to articulate to you the syntax of the agreement. Now let me give you ways in which you can use the agreement effectively. Agreement. And let me ask you a question. Agreement, but I promise. Agreement, yet I ask you to. Agreement plus hypothetical. Agreement plus sarcasm. It is easy to figure out yourself. Put some trust in you. Once you say yes, you will find a way to follow up. Let me be very clear. This is not to agree with whatever she says. You are not going to say that I told you to become a yes man. The reason for the agreement is to fake sympathy and make sure she does not repeat the same objection. In most cases, when someone objects, if whatever you follow with does not show them that you understand their decision, they will repeat the same objection until they leave. For example, she says, "I am in a rush." Then you say, "Come on, just hear me out." She will repeat, "I am in a rush." You follow up with, "I am also in a rush, but I am giving you my time. Let's talk a bit." She will end up saying something like, "Dude, I do not have time for this." Even if she were to stop and talk to you, she will be irritated and answer you with a lot of disrespect. Be sympathetic and address the objection. Example 1. I do not date guys younger than me. You may reply, "Yes, I understand. And let me ask you a question. Have you dated a younger guy before?" This will lead into another line of conversation where you can take control of the conversation to try to lead her from it. Personally, I use the agreement with a question a lot. It is my go-to response when replying if I don't have any witty comebacks. Example 2, you ask her to meet up. She says, "I would, but I am so tired. I have been doing this and that." You can say, "Yes, I understand, but I promise I will make it worth the trip." Example 3, she says, "I do not go out with guys like you. You are a player." You reply, "Yes, I agree. Players cannot be trusted, yet I ask you to go out with me. We will have a great time." When I first learned this, I was skeptical. The simplicity of the technique baffled me. How can this work? I am sure you would be surprised to hear that pretending to agree with objections is the most used sales technique to get over objections in the modern-day sales process. Used by guys like Jordan Belfort, Grant Cardone, Robert Kiyosaki, Dan Lok, and many more. This technique also aligns with the concept from Dale Carnegie's book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. It says, if you want to win people to your way of thinking, start off with something sweet before disagreeing with them. It can be used with all other methods. When you are just starting to talk to girls or you want to improve the current relationships, I recommend that whenever you encounter an objection, agree before you counter.